Good morning, welcome back to the channel. It's been a couple of weeks since the last video. Switch on to the next video because this one's going to be about equipment that I use for photography and post-processing, and a recent revelation that I had in moving from Windows PCs to Macintosh, which is something I've always particularly wanted to do, but I've never felt that the difference in behavior and performance was enough to warrant. So basically what I want to talk about is this little beast. Now this is an Apple Mac the right way up. It's the new Mac Mini, and that's all there is to it. It's got a series of ports on it. This is the M1 version, which has got the as designed by Apple. I believe they designed it. It's their processor rather than the Intel processors that were used up to this point. And this is radical, quite a radical change. And I've been seeing a lot of YouTube videos about this and the performance that it has. And I thought I'll get one, and if I like it, I'll keep it. If I don't like it, I'll get rid of it. But I wanted to share with you guys exactly what this has meant to me. I've had it about 3 weeks. So I've had a good chance to give it a good run for its money. And all you get in the box is this and a power cable. It doesn't have keyboard monitor or anything like that, but as you can probably see, I've got a series of monitors. There's another one over on the other side of the room over there. But all this has on it is a power socket. It has a Ethernet cable connector. It has two Thunderbolt 4 connectors, which if you're aware of Mac, that's quite something. It also has one that is a HDMI connector there, and then it has two standard USB 3 connectors here. So all in all, I can plug quite a few things into this, and especially if I use something like that, for example, which is a Thunderbolt 4 extender, that allows me to plug two monitors, further monitors into it if I want to. As of this point in time, it doesn't allow you to extend the desktop across multiple monitors. That's a bug that they're going to release a fix for in the next few weeks, but once that's done, it can do pretty much anything. Equally, you can also get for these devices like that, which is in this case a Thunderbolt 3, I think it's Thunderbolt 3 connector, and that then allows me the expansion of a series of there are 1, 2, 3, 4 USBs. It's got an Ethernet connection here. It's also got a HDMI connection there. It has two further HDMI connections, and it also has micro and SD card slots and Thunderbolt 3, as on the other side, Thunderbolt 3 connector. One delivers power as well. So that all can be plugged together to give you the expansion that you might need from it. But what I also needed, because this is the very base model, this particular computer, I bought it actually off eBay second hand, which is odd because they've only been out about a month and a half, so someone must have decided it wasn't for them. But it came to me exactly as it would have done new. In fact, it hadn't been opened at all. And this is the very base model. There are two types. There is the Mac 1 Mini M1 with 8 gigabytes of RAM, which this one is, which is the minimum, and the second one is the Mac 1 Mini M1 with 16 gigabytes of RAM. And I've deliberately bought the base model because I thought everyone online that's been doing any form of testing with this has actually decided that the 16 gigabyte doesn't actually make a lot of difference. Now, I won't bore you with all the technical stuff about the chip and the architecture and the way it works, but that sounds like not a lot, and it's only got a 256 gigabyte SSD inside it, so it's minimal, and I only paid £590 for this, which, if it can do what they claim it can do, is an incredibly small amount of money to pay for what is principally quite a powerful little box. And to go with it, I also bought this Sabrent 2 terabyte SSD, which again plugs in using Thunderbolt. So that's the Mac Mini, and I'll show you some videos now of performance differences, and what I'm going to compare is this beast with the same file, and I'm going to show you an image loaded into Photoshop and how quickly it responds. And I'm also going to show you the speeds that I'm getting when I'm rendering 4K video footage, like the video that we're making at the moment with this content. But that is one of the objects that's going to be used for the comparison. And to compare it, whether you can see it or not, there is here a Dell XPS 15. Let me just unhook you and show you that. Right, so flip you round. That is my Dell XPS 15. It's about 2 years old. It's an i7 processor. It has in it, I did actually get an i9 processor version of this, and I didn't see any advantages in performance, so I sent it back. This has got 64 gigabytes of RAM and a 4 terabyte internal SSD drive, so it's a pretty well spec'd up machine, and it's quite capable. Spin you around again. So that's one machine, and the other machine is going to be the comparison made between those, and in the corner here is my giant desktop machine, which I'm hoping to sort of find a reason to get rid of because it's a beast. This has got, this is an Asus with an i9 processor in, and it has got somewhere in the region of 96 gigabytes of RAM. So let's just look at the properties on the screen here, and we can see, yes, 96 gigabytes of RAM. It also has a 256 gigabyte internal drive. Spin you around again. Yes, as I was saying, it's got a 256 gigabyte disk drive, which the operating system is on, and it also has 2 terabytes. Yes, it's got a 2 terabyte RAID internally, which are two SSDs, two 2 terabyte SSDs, which is a bit of a mouthful to say. And what I'm going to do is show you now the performance benefits or differences between the three. I think you'll find them startling. I certainly have. Anyway, I'll make some I had hoped to actually screen capture the desktop machine, but it's got a glitch in it, which is one of the reasons that I've been considering replacing it. Without warning, the graphics card triggers it to actually just reboot itself. And I'd done a full recording of what I was about to talk to you about in terms of how quickly it loaded the image that I'm using, and it just cut out on me at the end of it. It had loaded the image, but I was just in the process of about to save the video that it had screen captured, and it just rebooted without warning. So that's not perfect, but I did manage to get the times. It took it 9.5 seconds to load the image that I'm now going to show you loading on this MacBook Mini here. So if I just spin you round into the middle so it's a bit easier to see, and what I want you to do is bear in mind how quickly this is going to load. As I mentioned earlier, the main desktop computer took about 9.5 seconds to have this image from Photoshop not being open right through to the point I could actually start zooming in on different parts of the image, so that it was effectively fully loaded. My XPS 15 laptop did that same process in approximately 15 seconds, so it was half as long again as my main desktop computer. Now I want you to actually take notice of how quickly this takes. This is the Apple Mac version Silicon version. It's a beta release of Photoshop. Lightroom itself is not actually released for the M1 chipset yet, but Photoshop has been. Lightroom should be available in the next month and a half, hopefully. And at the moment I'm noticing that Lightroom is not really running any quicker on this Mac than it is on my notebook, so or laptop in this case. So let's just see how long this takes to load this image. So I'll double click on it, and it's loading it in ordinary Photoshop, and it's taking probably 5 or 6 seconds, and there we are, it's loaded. So I'll do that again so that we can time that this time. So double click, and because Photoshop's already loaded in memory, I need to quit it so that it has to load it back into memory, and we'll start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds to the point we can actually work with that image. Now I need to open that this time with Adobe Photoshop Beta, which I will do. So I'll start timing this one now. 1, 2, 3, 3 seconds. 3 seconds. That to me is very, very, very impressive. So clearly that little Mac Mini M1 that I've bought can handle fairly chunky images in reasonable time. So I'm very pleased with that. That is really performance that I'm more than happy with. The other main objective of getting this particular Mac is that I wanted to run DaVinci Resolve to make the videos that I put out onto YouTube. And DaVinci Resolve is very specific about the graphics cards that it'll work with. And both my main desktop, which is well spec'd up, and also my XPS laptop won't work with it well enough. It'll either work but is too slow to practically run with, or it'll not work at all and it'll just say there's not enough graphics memory available. So I can obviously make videos with different applications and have been doing so, but I really wanted to use DaVinci Resolve because it gives me so much flexibility on exactly how I construct the videos, and it gives me a lot of control over how I actually do transitions for the images and so on and so forth. So I was very pleased to find that DaVinci Resolve actually runs beautifully on this machine, and a full export of a 10-minute 4K video on my Mac Mini is taking about 6.5 to 7 minutes to render, and that is at least twice as fast as either of my other two computers can do. So I'm more than happy with this little machine. I'm really very taken by it, and when they've solved the problem of running multiple monitors, which they know about and they are going to put it right, when that's resolved, and also when Adobe release the other versions of different applications that run natively on this chipset, I'm going to be a happy bunny, because a £590 computer that can do everything I want and is small enough to easily take with me places. See, if I go away on holiday, I'll probably not bother with the laptop. I'll probably just bring a monitor like the one that's just behind where you guys are now, and a couple of power leads and the Mac Mini. It's not a lot more to carry around than a laptop, quite frankly. So anyway, I hope you found that interesting, and if you have any questions, please ask them in the section below, because I'm more than happy to help other people understand. Or if there's any specific tests you'd like me to run on it, I'll do that. That's fine by me. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up as usual, and we'll see you on the next one.